Hello friends, welcome back to Road to SAP and I am your host. First of all, please accept my heartfelt and sincere apologies to all my dedicated viewers and subscribers out there. Friends, actually due to some unforeseen personal circumstances which definitely prevented me from releasing the content as planned with the time, and the circumstances were definitely beyond my control and which has kept me mostly occupied and busy. So it is my sincere apologies to all the viewers out there. But I don't want to just ruin this particular session in just filing an apology letter. Sorry for that tongue twister. Apology letter to you. I just want you to ramp up my. I have just decided to ramp up my production of videos more frequently so that it will be a win-win situation for everyone, not only for me but also for the viewers out there. So in that course, I have planned something to deal very important today, and that is I thought on the basis of some comment which I've received on my videos, and one of the comment was received for making a video on HTTP request smuggling. Friends, whenever I just think about this bug, I always found that there are different kind of confusion in the mind of the pen tester or the bug bounty hunters, that how to identify this bug, and if I have identified this bug, then how could I exploit it, what kind of things are there, things are placed out there. So many times I have seen some pen testing report. It was based on some kind of tools or the scan results from the bub shoot on the different kind of things. Definitely those tools are definitely of use. I'm not saying, I'm not outrighting rejecting them, that you should not use those tools. But at the same time, if you don't understand the basic of identifying a particular vulnerability, then and it is you are doing everything based on the tools, then definitely there could be the chances that is based on getting a false positive result. So without using much ado, let's jump into the topic, and it will be about identifying and exploiting the HTTP request smuggling. So what is this HTTP request smuggling? Okay, so more loosely I would like to tell you, and I think that most of you must be agreeing with me, that in this modern era of web architecture, you will find that our application basically placed behind some kind of reverse proxy or the load balancer, and all these load balancer or reverse proxy are placed there just to you can see in the image right here. So all these load balancer definitely try to improve the performance and security and manageability of the servers. Okay, so different kind of tools are there, have proxy, nginx, aws, where cache. Okay, so all these are used for maintaining different kind of things, like something are used for load balancing, caching, ssl termination. Okay, and all these are basically meant to improve the performance of the application server. Okay, otherwise you can imagine these ways the internet traffic has rise up to a terabyte or teraflop of data. They just constantly push to and from the client side to the server side. So in this particular scenario, you cannot expect a single server could handle all these requests and a tremendous amount of requests out there. But when I'm talking about the request, definitely the people out there or people placed in the bug bounty, they must be understanding that all the requests that you place through your client or the browser definitely carry some kind of parameters and some kind of headers, and these headers are called HTTP headers. Okay, and whenever HTTP headers are there, then there are tons of headers are there, but out of that header, what kind of header that we are of interest? Okay, we'll take interest today. So basically whenever you are sending some data to a particular server, then how that server comes to know that entire content has been sent to me or not. Okay, so that is basically based on the post content, that is based in the post content. Like, so there are two kind of headers that basically of use, that is the content length header, and it is one of the ways to indicate the length of the message in the bytes in a HTTP request or response. So we'll be more focusing on the HTTP request, because in HTTP response you get this header only in case of whenever you're just retrieving some information from the server. Okay, like you have seen that I'm just getting the index page from the evil.com, and I'm getting a content length of 4177 bytes. Okay, but obviously this 4177 bytes is just the amount of length of the HTML page that is being written by the evil.com server. Okay, so it is of no use to us, because we are talking about that HTTP request smuggling. That means you want to smuggle some requests. So we want to send some data to the server, and how that while sending that data, what we can do, that we need to understand. Okay, so this is first one of the server, and second one, if I'm just sending the same request via the post method, suppose this is a local host setup of my machine, and I'm just trying to send some parameters like your name, your email, and your phone number and comments, then you can see there are two content length header, in one in the request page and another in the response page. In the request page, there are 77 bytes or 72 bytes are being sent to the server, and in the response we are getting 109 bytes from the server, okay, from my local host. So I think so far we are totally clear here that how content length is being used for as a termination of the data body. At the same time, we must understand there are one more header that is called connections. Mostly whenever you send a connection to the server, we just send and we may terminate the tunnel, and in that case you will be finding most of the time you will find the connection as closed. But what if I just want to keep this connection as alive? Okay, the connection header is basically to tell us that whether the connection has to be kept live by the server for the subsequent request, or it can be closed by the server. If connection header as set as close, then definitely it will be the request will be sent one at a time. Okay, now I'll just try to show you one more thing. I think okay, so one more header is there that that we use in case of sending data, and that is about the transfer encoding. Okay, that there are different kind of encoding methods are used. One of the popular method is called chunked, and we can also compress the data. Then you can use the compress also. We can deflate the data. We can use gzip. You must have seen in the request headers. Sometimes you can club this kind of encoding. Gzip and chunked, you can say in a different, you can use it through a comma. So I am just trying to send a chunk request over here, and you can see that I'm just sending 6 and 5 bytes like hello underscore and world. So you can see my server, the localhost service, try to read that text that has been sent by the server as hello underscore world, and total size in the byte is 11 bytes. Okay, so this is the work of a chunk. Then how chunk comes to know that is the end of the message? It is basically achieved by placing a null parameters or the 0 parameters. Okay, so we'll just send a 0, and that 0 will basically mark as the end of the message. Now friends, now we understood both the headers. We understood the content length header, and we understood the transfer encoding headers as chunked, and chunked is basically getting terminated at a place where it is terminated using 0 byte. So where is this issue? Basically, we have never witnessed a scenario where you can find that transfer encoding and content length header are used at the same time. But think about a scenario. What if the attacker, or who just want to test that how the application behaves, okay, at different labels, how application parsing the request, and if it's sending both the content length header and transfer encoding at the same time. In that case, obviously based on the priority of the layers, or the priority of the front end and the backend server, the attacker can definitely exploit the entire scenario. I'll definitely try to present the scenario in form of a hands-on also, but just bear with me and try to understand right now the basic part of it. So more or less we have discussed about two kind of headers over there, which basically marks as termination of the data that you are sending to a server, that is the content length header and the transfer encoding header. And both these headers are basically sent at different times, okay, in different scenarios. But while exploiting this kind of things, you just try to club both of these headers at a time and try to get something out of it. Okay, so now suppose if your front-end server, like there could be following possibilities to exploit. First, the front-end server may be focusing on the content length, is try to reach the content length as the mark of termination of the data sent by the application, or the backend server basically rely on the transfer encoding. In that case, attacker may try to exploit the possibility of CLT, that is the content length and T. Okay, it could be reverse ways as well, vis-a-vis, like transfer encoding encoding by the front end server and the content length by the backend server. And in the third part, it could be TET, like transfer encoding, and similarly we can shuffle between these two lengths, two kind of HTTP headers, and play with the application. Okay. Now, since we have understood, so what I have done, I have basically tried to solve an THM lab to show you the exploitativity of this particular thing, but I have taken it one level up. Okay, that will not basically witness in the lab. So I'll just try to show you that how in the first hand only you will try to understand that what kind of thing that I should employ to understand whether the particular application is vulnerable to HTTP request smuggling. So that is my first thing. So I'll be focusing on a thing, and that thing will be about the HTTP request smuggling through timing attack. Okay, so I'll send some requests, and see, this is the developer portal. Okay, and this developer portal has few functionalities, like there is a home button, and home button has a contact page, and it allows me to send some request, like we have to send the name and the query. Okay, at the same time there is a login page. For that you need some password. Okay, so before going further, I expect that you understand that so far the nitty-gritty of everything, what is happening while sending a request. Okay, what kind of headers are being sent. Okay, and in this particular application they are basically submitting all the contact page using a text file called submission.txt, and where your queries are mostly saved. So I'll just try to find out the detection of vulnerability. Now this is the basically get page of index.php of the same application, and that is the HTTP request smuggling.thm. and if I just forward this request, let's see what happens. You can observe. I'll just forward this request. It will definitely present us a 200 HTTP 200 OK page. What I try to do, I just change this request to the post, and I'm just putting one more header over here as transfer encoding as chunked. Okay, since there is no content right now, therefore you can see that content length header size is 0. So I'm just sending some 3 bytes over there. Okay, I'll be just sending suppose X. Okay, and then L, and any character of suppose again X. Okay, so I'm just sending this. Okay, and I'm not marking that transfer encoding has ended. Okay, because I have told you that transfer encoding is ended through bytes called 0 bytes. Okay, so which I'm not sending over here right now. So what it will do, it will definitely try to confuse the server that there is no termination of message, and it will based on the server that which part of header it try to understand that this is the size of the content, whether it is being decided based on content length or transfer encoding. So in this kind of scenarios, if application get confused, then it will definitely try to show you this kind of thing, that server hang up, because server is unable to fetch you the exact response, because I have not given sufficient instruction while sending a request. So this is a big heads up for you while doing this kind of testing. So please keep a close watch over it. Okay, now we'll actually try to exploit our application, and we'll just try to club both our both our requests of the index pages and the contact.php, and try to see that whether we could be able to find some request clubbed into the older one or not. So just stay tuned, and I hope that you are enjoying that thing. And at the same time, friends, thank you for your love and support so far that you have given to my channel. I am promising you that I'll be more frequent to you when it comes to content, and I'll bringing up this kind of interesting content for everyone, especially for the beginners, and so that they can also have a thorough understanding about the bug bounties environments, and at the same time the applications. So this is the thing that I'm just trying to show using some tool that is present in GitHub, that is smuggler.py, and I'll just try to use that tool. But even if you can see, watch the video, but please that this is my personal advice, that you must strengthen your basic. If you don't understand that what the tool is doing, why the tool is saying this particular thing is vulnerable, then you'll just be a script kiddie. Okay, you'll not grow your that level of hunting. because the moment the tool will just give you the false positive kind of result, will just wrap it up in a good report and will send it, and you'll just get a, and your report will get discarded by the receiving company. So you must know that whether these particular things are valid or not. Now see, there is a difference in the response over here, like there are difference in the response. So like 200 and 500, that means the server is responding different kind of things based on different kind of content body. Okay, now what I'm doing over here, I'm just trying to club both my requests, the post index.php and try to send the content.php. You can see I'm just setting the content length and content length in the both the part. In the first part, I'm just trying to use transfer encoding as chunked, and it is being terminated as by 0, and I'm sending it, and once again I'll just send, and the query has been sent. Okay, so that means the second request has been executed. So I'll be getting both the request, or I should be getting only that so you can see okay, so this is the page. So 537 KB, instead I just sent only test and test, but instead of that I'm also getting the first part of the request also. So that means I was able to smuggle 2 requests at a time, whereas I should be able to only send only the first request, only the second request, because I've already sent. So this particular server is basically vulnerable to CLT. That means the first content length is being understood, and it is taking the entire thing at a time. Okay, so I hope I'm clear. Now, where we can use this particular vulnerability? So we can use this vulnerability to sometimes expose the request of other users also. Like some 2 requests, variety of content length are being, you see that different message content are there. So this particular things can also be used to exploit others. Now in the request, you can see that I'm able to get one credentials of other users also. So I hope you understood that how dangerous this vulnerability could be. And friends, once again I'm telling you, if you have got any kind of doubt, please reach out to me, and I hope this video is sufficiently self-explanatory. So have a great day, and understood and exploit whenever you are fine. Use all these techniques and maximize your chances of getting bounty. Thank you for your time. Thank you.